I remember I was a young adult finishing college. I thought that it was like, I had what I would call like my Catholic merit badge sash. It was like, doing morning and evening prayer liturgy, the hours, praying a daily rosary, most days making it to mass, multiple holy hours a week, youth ministry, mission trips. It was like I had all this stuff that I was doing, right? And a plan for my life, which was that I was going to be going to grad school at University of Georgia. Go Dogs, come on. There's a lot to root for there these days. But all these doors opened up for me to go to graduate school. And it was like I got into the right program, got a fellowship, and a good friend of mine was starting simultaneously another program. So I had a roommate at UGA. Everything was set out. It was like red carpet. And somebody who I was talking to was asking me about my plans, and I told them that, and then told them I also hope in my breaks to be able to do mission work. And this friend of mine, she just looks at me and says, well, why don't you forget about school and just go be a missionary? And I was just like, did you not hear? Like there's all these opportunities that are in front of me. But I couldn't let go of it. And so I went to adoration and I'm there in front of Jesus, and I start just getting angry about this like lack of peace about the path I'm on. And I said, God, I'm tired. Like I'd been in seminary before this. Okay. I was a seminarian for a year with my diocese, discerned that wasn't it. I thought for a moment, going to get married. That wasn't it. And I was just in this like limbo land. Like if people have ever done like a lot of discerning, sometimes you just get to the point where you're just like, I'm just done. Like, I'm tired of trying to figure this out. Yeah. And I was telling Jesus, I'm like one of those moments of sincerity. I'm like, dude, would you just tell me like, what is it I'm supposed to do in my life? Why are you making it so complicated? Why won't you tell me what your will is? And I just thought, you kind of get that out there. And then I heard in my heart, the Lord say, you don't know my plan. And you don't know what I desire for you because you will not listen. And I came back with my Catholic merit badge sash, right? And started naming all the things that I did. And the Lord, like so mercifully, and I just, again, this is interior in my heart. I'm not hearing locutions or whatever. I'm not like a crazy mystic. But in my heart, just heard in this moment, Jesus say, you do all of this and you ask me what I want and you tell me what's in your heart, but you will not sit in the silence to listen for my response. And it was just this moment of like every scale's falling. And I just realized my spiritual life was so full of me. And there wasn't space for him. Even though it had all the external trappings of awesome Catholic spirituality. And so I just started doing this kind of like deal. I just started going to adoration and I'm like, I'm not taking anything with me. And I'm just going to go sit. And it was really distracting at first and difficult. But in this silence was a place where all of a sudden I just heard the Lord. It was a couple of months after this of just sitting in silence before the Eucharist. And then just one day, in just this place of peace and rest, I just heard Jesus say to me there, if you follow the path you're on, I will bless you and be with you. But if you do not, I have something better for you. And it was like this peace and joy. And I'm like, this is like, I've been waiting, Lord, just to like hear you. And when you hear his voice, when you hear the voice of Jesus, your heart knows it. It knows it because we're meant to hear the voice of the Good Shepherd. And it just like set me free interiorly and gave me this joy. And I'm like, all right, Lord, what do you got? And there was radio silence. Like, all I knew was he said, let go of all this and then, got something better. And it left me in a moment of like, all right, Lord, what do I do? And so I just said, all right, like after wrestling, talking to my spiritual director, I was like, I know that was him. And I don't know what it means, but I've got to follow that voice. And that voice was only something I ever was able to hear in silence. And it was a few months later on a silent retreat at a monastery of Trappist, Mepkin Abbey down in South Carolina, where 3 days of silence, not just a holy hour, but now 3 days of silence and in nature where I've always loved to meet Jesus. There was again a revelation in my heart where in that stillness and rest, the Lord just showed me that amidst many desires, the thing that my heart wanted most was to just live for him. And I was like, sweet, let's do it. Come on. and that was the fruit of silence. And I think the world, right? There's so many ways in which like we're filled with so much noise, but that silence it can be frightening and it's a poverty, but there is the place where I discover, right, the truth of who I am, right? One is I am a poor beggar.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first movement. The liturgy starts that way. I'm a sinner. I come in this way. But then what happens? God himself addresses himself to me as a creature, which means I'm calling you into a relationship. But we don't get to hear that invitation without staying in the poverty of that silence. But in that place, man, when he speaks, this is what changes history, changes reality. Like
silence is similar to suffering in that if it's done well, it's receptive, Because I like to tell the Lord, here's my plan of life. Here's the things that I'll do for you. I'll pray this prayer and I'll do this thing, and all of that's beautiful. And it's almost like the Lord is doing something to me through suffering while I'm coming up with my own plan, and I'm trying to bat that away so I can get about the business of becoming holy.
Absolutely.
As opposed to turning around and trying to receive that with his grace, receive that suffering. It's almost like he speaks to us in that poverty of silence, but also the poverty of suffering.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like is when the Lord tells you to wait. I like when he says yes. I don't like it when he says no. I hate it. When you just get the sense, I'm doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? Wait.
Yeah. There's a psalm that says, in silence and in rest lies your strength.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.